Hello everybody, my name's Steve, I'm the British Railroader and welcome to the train room for another update on my City Yard shelf layout. So I've got a few things to update you on, which will take you around. Probably the most obvious that you can see behind me is the lighting up here. I'll explain that in a minute, but that's just to light the layout because it was a bit dingy in here at times. I also show you the little bit of progress I've made. I am a very, very slow modeler. So things do take a little bit of time for me, but I'll hopefully just show you what I've done. And also what I want to do is talk about one of the locos that I introduced you to last time, my CSX GP38-2, the Athearn Genesis one that I got, and also talk a little bit about how you calculate and how you work out, at least the way I do it, how you work out scale speed. So go over to layout and we'll have a little look. So as I said, the first thing that I want to talk about is, if I can get it in focus, the lighting that we've got. Now, if you look down here and you can just see over here behind that building, it's a bit of a dingy corner. And in fact, the way that the light is set up in this room means that actually this whole side of the layout was a little bit dingy. So I was looking for a lighting solution. And this is just those strips of 12 volt LEDs, which my camera is not really letting me focus on, but there we go. And I've got this going all the way round the layout. And as you can see, it gives quite a good constant light, which will be nice for filming by, and also just means that I don't have that dinginess in the corner. And I've got enough of them that there aren't too many shadows. We've got a few, as you can see over here. I've got a couple over here, but I'm just going to live with them. That's just the way life is, unfortunately, when you use back scenes. So that's the lighting on the layout, and we'll just move over to the bits that I've done. So you can see here we've got the two tenement blocks, and these are now built and painted and have got things like curtains and blinds. And if you look there at the back, those bathroom windows, they're not painted white at the back. They got a coat of matte varnish sprayed on them so that you've got that frosted window effect. I apologise for the background noise, by the way. That's just the automatic sounds on my loco going. That's what I love about Soundtrax decoders, is that you can always tell when you've left your layout on, because nothing's ever completely silent. Anyway, back to the buildings. So we've got these two. As you can see, they're embedded in place, but, and I will show you this one, they are not yet fixed down. And that's because I want to put some interiors into these buildings. And I think I mentioned last time about printed interiors, which I'll show you. So what I have here on my pretty messy desk is this is interior detail packs from Scale Scenes over here in the UK. And as you can see, there are things like you can make up sofas. Over here we've got kitchen appliances and things. And then we've got flooring. And then I think the last sheet is walls and doors and pictures and things. And basically what I'm going to do is create a cardboard interior for each of the buildings. Each room's going to be different. There will obviously be some crossover, but each room's going to be slightly different. And then I can add lighting in. And whilst I'm not going for a full 3D effect, what I'm hoping that these do is just for those bits that you will see through the windows, just to give an idea that there is something in there. So these are from, as I said, scalescenes.com over here in the UK. They do them in N-Gauge and 00. I had an interesting conversation with somebody through the comments in my last video. In fact, no, not from my last video, from when I posted an update on Facebook about the buildings and saying I was going to use these interiors because they were concerned that these are 00 and not HO. And I will explain this a little bit more when I talk about scale speeds. But at the end of the day, HO and 00 can kind of be used interchangeably for certain scenic details. It's all to do with their scale ratio. So whereas HO scale is 1 to 87, 00 is 1 to 76. But the 00 is just the British equivalent of HO for all intents and purposes. And these will work absolutely fine in HO. Okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about scale speed. So you've just seen my new CSX GP38-2 crawling along there. That was at speed step 5, and then I sped it up to speed step 15. Now I use 128 speed steps, and what I've done is I've set my locos. Tend to set all of my locos, given the size of my layout, to run really slowly and to run very smoothly at low speeds. But obviously you want to know what the speeds are. Now at speed step 5, this particular loco goes at basically about 1.5 miles an hour. And when it was at speed step 15, it was doing a shade over 4 miles an hour. And even at speed step 50, this particular loco is doing 12.5 miles an hour. And it may look fast when it's going along, but actually 12.5 miles an hour isn't particularly fast at all. Now, in a yard, you're talking about not really going over about 10 miles an hour, which for me is speed step 40. I very rarely get to speed step 40. And the way that I calculate speed, now you can get things where the loco passes through and it will measure the speed for you. But I do things a slightly old-fashioned way, and I'm going to talk you through that now. So the first thing I do is I have a set distance that I work from, and I like to use 40 centimeters. Don't ask me why. I think it's because the old layout, each baseboard was 40 centimeters long, so it just helps me work that. And on here, I've marked that out so you can see half a cocktail stick here and another half of a cocktail stick here. And that distance is 40 centimeters. And what I then do is I take one of these, an old-fashioned stopwatch, and I literally time how long it takes the loco at whatever speed step to go between those 2 points. Very crude, but trust me, it works. I then go through a system of calculations. So what you need to do is take 1 hour in seconds, which is 3,600 seconds. Multiply that by this distance in scale feet. Now to work that out, you want to know the distance in millimeters and divide that by however many feet there are, or however many millimeters at scale make up each foot. So this is HO scale, so it's 3.5 millimeters per foot, which means that 40 centimeters is actually 114.3 scale feet, as near as damn it. So you have that, the hour in seconds times by whatever that distance is, and you divide it by the time it took for that loco to run between those 2 points in seconds. And that gives you its speed in feet per hour. You then take that measurement and divide it by 1 mile, but 1 mile in feet, which is 5,280. That will then give you miles per hour. And that is basically how I work out my scale speeds. There are probably easier ways to do it. I am not a mathematician, though I did quite well at maths when I was at school. But that's how I do it. I've put the calculations up there for you. If anybody wants to disagree with my calculations, please feel free. But as far as I can tell, this way works for me every time. And I've tried it in various different scales. So yeah, it's there you go. That's how I work out how fast my locos are going, or actually in this case, how slow. So there we go. That's today's update. Oh, one last thing. You can just see it behind me, but the bridge over here, which takes the staging area, has now got a nice black and yellow trim, just so that I don't miss it. And it's got the same on the other side, because I have bumped into it once or twice, but you know, I am getting old, so there we go. But anyway, that's my update for this month. What I'm hoping is by the time you see another update, the GP38 will have a slight weathering. I'm not going to weather it too much because I really like that loco, but it's just a tiny bit shiny and I need to make it look as if it's actually done some work. So that should be done. Hopefully I will have a little bit more ballasting done. I still am over here somewhere and haven't got down to the far end of the layout. Running joke with me and my friend Gaz from Platform 1 MRC is that I am the slowest ballaster anywhere, I think, in the world. But that's what I'm hoping to have at least a little bit more done. I might just get all of the point work done and out of the way. Future projects. I've started work on the factory building at the back. It's now just got a top coat or bottom coat of paint and undercoat, if you like, in just a desert yellow. And then I'll start working on that so that it brings out other colours and the weathering, etc., etc. And again, that building's going to have some kind of interior, but I don't quite know how that's going to work out because I'm not an expert on factories. So, you know, I don't know what to put in there, but I'll think of something. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Please give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. There are plenty more on here, updates about the layout and some other bits and pieces. Oh, and one last thing, just bear with me before I log off. Oops. Ever the professional, don't you love it? But in a week's time, on Saturday the 5th and Sunday the 6th of August. It's going to bring this in. Hopefully it's in shot. We have the 39th Annual Model Railway Exhibition for the Shoeburyness Model Railway Club. This is at the Sea Glass at Thorpe Hall School here in Southend-on-Sea, so just up the road for me. I will be there on the Saturday, making videos and hopefully picking up some bargains. I always like to pick up a bargain at a model railway exhibition if I can. So if you happen to be in the area or if you live in Southend, come along. If you see me, feel free, come say hello. Yeah, I'll be there Saturday morning from when it starts at 10 a.m. Until I've got everything that I need. But anyway, thanks again for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe. And this is Steve, the British Railroader, saying farewell from the Model Railway Room, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.